Hi guys, welcome back. So today we are going to do a new model for the show. So I'm just going to be doing a voice recording and then providing pictures to go with and that sort of thing. So if you like this format better, please like and comment so that I know which way people prefer. So, today we are going to be talking about the different resort options available at Walt Disney World. So, we're going to continue on our conversation about Disney World. So, there are four main sections of hotels at Walt Disney World. Your first section is going to be value resorts. Now, these are going to be your cheapest rooms, and they tend to be around $100 to $150, sometimes a little bit cheaper, depending on what offers are available. So, you have two main areas that these resorts are. They are all in the general Animal Kingdom area of the resort complex. But you have the All-Star area, which has All-Star movies, All-Star music, and All-Star sports. You also have Pop Century. And then finally, you have Art of Animation. Art of Animation, however, tends to run at about $300 a night. Now, it runs that high because you have suite hotels. So these are multi-room offerings, and they're really great for families or if you're going with a multi-generational trip. So if you're taking maybe your parents along with your kids, Art of Animation can be a really great way to do that, but it doesn't fall into traditional value pricing in that it's not going to be $100 about a night, with the exception of a small portion of Art of Animation that is themed to The Little Mermaid, and those rooms do tend to run about $120 a night sometimes. They don't oftentimes, however, have discounts offered for them like the other value resorts. Oftentimes, the Little Mermaid rooms are exempted from discounts. So moving on from the values, you then have the moderate hotels. So the moderate hotels are Caribbean Beach, Coronado Springs, Port Orleans French Quarter, and Port Orleans Riverside. Now these tend to be about $150 with a good discount to these days running about $230 a night. So they're a mid-range option. They tend to be where I prefer to stay. They have, a couple extra amenities included. The rooms are a little bit nicer, a little bit more of a subtle theming as opposed to the values, which tend to have big giant props for theming. So the important thing to know about this section right now, though, is that Coronado Springs and Caribbean Beach are both going over major refurbishments right now and additions. And so that means that they are going to be loud, you're going to have construction, and it can impact your experience a lot, especially because sometimes amenities aren't going to be available. Right now, Coronado Springs has their main pool closed. So that is something to keep in mind, that you're not going to have all of your options available to you at those two resorts. Like I said, they're really great options. They're really a nice middle ground. So now with all of the values, you only have bus transportation to the theme parks, the water parks, and Disney Springs. And for Coronado and Caribbean Beach, that is true. French Quarter, Riverside and French Quarter are right next to each other, which means that you actually have boat transportation to Disney Springs. But aside from that, you are reliant on bus transportation to get to any other location. So that is something that as you go up in price, oftentimes you have other transportation options besides just Disney buses. Now, the next section of hotels are the deluxe resorts, and there are a number of these. So, in the Magic Kingdom area, you have Grand Floridian, the Polynesian, the Contemporary, and Wilderness Lodge. All four resorts have boat transportation to Magic Kingdom. And in addition, the Grand Floridian, Polynesian, and Contemporary also have monorail service to Magic Kingdom, which is a main draw for these resorts. In fact, the Contemporary has the monorail going through the center of the resort. So, in addition to having monorail access to Magic Kingdom, you can also stop at the Ticket and Transportation Center, which is the other stop on the monorail system, and transfer to a monorail that will take you to Epcot. So that means that you have access to 2 theme parks without using the Disney bus system, which is something a lot of people like to avoid. The next section of resorts is the Epcot area, which you have Beach Club, Yacht Club, and Boardwalk. All 3 of these have walking and boat access to both Epcot and Hollywood Studios. So you're able to walk pretty easily to Epcot, and you can also walk to Hollywood Studios. It is a bit of a hike, but they both offer boat service as well to get you to those theme parks. Finally, the last deluxe resort is Animal Kingdom Lodge, which is obviously in the Animal Kingdom area of the resort. This is the only deluxe resort that does not offer non-bus transportation to any location. So you are reliant on the bus system to get you everywhere within the resort complex. However, it is very close to Animal Kingdom, and so that is a very nice, convenient thing to have. So the deluxes are going to have nicer pools. They're going to have more signature dining, high-end dining options. The theming is going to be even nicer in these locations. They are all beautiful resorts. So you really can't go wrong with any of the deluxes, but they do run that price of $300 to about $600 to $700 for Grand Floridian and Poly, which is the abbreviated name for the Polynesian. A lot of people refer to it as Poly. So that is something to know, that those resorts are going to be very expensive. Now you can get a good discount, and that can certainly help the price. And there are other ways that you can save money and still stay at a deluxe resort, but they are going to be a lot more expensive than your values and your moderates. The final main section of Disney hotels are DVC Resorts. Now, DVC Resorts is Disney's timeshare program. And in another video, we'll talk about how to stay at this resort, these hotels, if you are not a DVC member. But right now, we're just going to talk about what they are and where they are. So a lot of the deluxe hotels have DVC sections. Everything in the Magic Kingdom area has a DVC portion. So that would be Grand Floridian, Polynesian, Contemporary, and Wilderness actually has 2 sections to their DVC. In the Epcot area, you have Beach Club and Boardwalk both having DVC sections. Animal Kingdom Lodge as well has a DVC section, partly in their main hotel, and then they also have a whole separate building called Kidani Village that is all DVC. Finally, there are 2 hotels near Disney Springs. So they have boat access to Disney Springs that are solely DVC. So there's not any quote unquote normal hotel rooms in these hotels. And they are Old Key West, which was the original DVC, and Saratoga Springs. Saratoga Springs is actually close enough that you can walk to Disney Springs. There's a bridge that goes over the water that'll allow you to walk over to Disney Springs. So those are the main sections of room categories. Now, Caribbean Beach is currently under construction to add a DVC, and that'll be open in the next year or two. As well, there's rumors that the final section of lodging options for Disney is getting its own DVC portion, which is Fort Wilderness. Fort Wilderness is a campsite. So you're able to have tent camping, RV camping, and then there's also cabins that you can stay in that are on the campgrounds. So this is a regular camp environment. You've got the large bathrooms with the showers and the toilets to use if you're camping in a tent. There's wonderful things like horseback riding, and it's a much more rugged, outdoorsy feel. So it's really great if you want to go camping, but you also want to do a Disney trip. It is a very popular option for people. It's not something I've ever done, but it is very popular. So that's kind of the addendum. It's kind of in its own category. It doesn't really fit well into any of the other sections. And the prices for this can be very varied. Some of the smaller campground sites can go as low as $60 a night, and then the cabins can run $200 or $300 a night. So you really have a wide variety, and a lot of that is because it is a campground, so you're bringing your own lodging. So those are the main forms of hotel. Those are the main categories for hotels at the Disney Resort, and then going over briefly what all of those resorts are. So they all have their drawbacks and their pluses and all of that sort of thing. I will say that my favorite resorts are Port Orleans French Quarter, which is where I've stayed on a couple different trips. It's gorgeous. It's a nicer size for a moderate. Most of the moderates are quite large, and French Quarter is a great deal smaller, and so it's got a bit more of an intimate feel. I personally love New Orleans as a whole anyway, so part of why I enjoy it so much is because of that feeling and the environment that it reminds me of. And then the other resort I really enjoy is the DVC section of Grand Floridian. So on our honeymoon, we were able to rent DVC points, which I'll go into in a different video, and stay at Grand Floridian for a few days. And it was absolutely wonderful. The convenience of being at Magic Kingdom and just hopping on the monorail to go back to the resort, the theming in the area, the convenience to Polly, it was really a wonderful experience, especially for our trip. It was very hot. Both days we were at Magic Kingdom. We got uncomfortable, we were sweaty, we were tired, and we were able to get over to our resort, and within 20 minutes of leaving Magic Kingdom, be in the pool, swimming, cooling down, feeling so much better, really feeling refreshed, so that we were able to go back and enjoy the rest of our day at Magic Kingdom. So it certainly is a pricier option, but it was my favorite. On our honeymoon, we were able to stay at Animal Kingdom Lodge, Grand Floridian, and Beach Club. So we hopped around a little bit from hotels, and it was, so we got to get a wider view of the deluxe resorts, which we haven't been able to do before, and it was really a great experience. So I've never stayed at any of the values, so I really can't speak to which of the values is my favorite because I've never stayed at any of them. So, so that is all for today. And if you liked this format better, please let me know in the comments. If you want the old format back, let me know that as well. So I am wishing you all a magical day, and thank you so much for watching, for subscribing, for commenting. I really appreciate all of that. So have a wonderful day, and I will see you soon. Thanks. Bye.